So happy to be here, wrapping up the day for you. I won't keep you long, I promise. We can get to drinks later. There is a reception, I think. So I'm going to be talking today about one of the most recent papers we've been working on, which is taking some data from one of the leading crowdfunding platforms. You may figure out who it is when you see screenshots, to try and understand how or what drives people to act on a referral when they receive an email or a tweet or a Facebook post from their friend about a crowdfunding campaign on this website. When are they more or less likely to act on it and give money as well? But before I get into that, I just want to step back and say a little bit about myself. So I am a professor in the Department of Information and Decision Sciences at the Carlson School at the University of Minnesota. This work is joint with my colleagues here, Anindya Ghosh and Sunil Wattal, and we actually have a number of papers in the crowdfunding space that we've been looking at this for a number of years now. So first got into this back in 2009, working with a little company called Camisa, based out of Chicago, who has since gone out of business, but they were one of the sort of forebearers of a lot of the companies in this space and kind of got us thinking about a lot of the stuff that's going on here. And one of the main things we started focusing on is this notion that people can observe what other people are doing on these platforms, and they are highly social in nature. As Ian has said, I've been really focused on how people are driven by social aspects of various websites. So we're trying to understand here, this is just one study in a broader portfolio of work, trying to understand how does visibility of other people and their actions impact people's behavior. So our initial work looked at a website called spot.us, and we tried to understand peer influence on that website, and we actually found evidence that the crowd is somewhat wise in the sense that as they see a campaign succeeding massively and getting lots of funds from other people, they tend to withhold their money and take it elsewhere to help somebody else. So that's what we found there. Here, what I'm looking at is how does what the referrer who sent me this email or this tweet, how does what they've done in the past in terms of giving money publicly impact my probability of giving money to? Okay, so that's the general notion. So what are we talking about? So we're talking about this type of thing. So we've all seen a page like this before of a crowdfunding campaign. And at the bottom, usually on most of these platforms, you're going to see something along these lines that allows you to share this thing, right? So you can put it on Facebook, you can tweet it, you can send an email, you can put a widget up on your website, whatever. So this is what I'm talking about. Somebody comes, they either give money or they don't, and they take this action and tell their friends about it. So I'm just going to start off so you know what you're taking away from this, what you should learn from me. These three things. So first off, referrals that are sent by somebody that has themselves given money already are way more likely to drive somebody else to convert. And there are a number of reasons you could think that could be true. I'm going to talk about the two that we've identified, we think, and we rule out some alternative explanations here. It may simply be that these people are putting in more effort to convert other people. It may be that they look like they're putting their money where their mouth is, so they're more credible. Those are the two things that we focus on in this paper. So this is the second piece. Public consumption matters as well. So public prior contribution by these people as opposed to concealed prior contribution. And I'll explain that in a second. It matters because if I can see that this person has given money in the past, that means I have both of these options. So one, maybe they're more credible because I can see what they've been doing. And two, maybe they're putting in more enthusiasm at the same time and trying to convince me. So these public prior contributions should be stronger in their impact on me than the ones where somebody has given in advance of referring me, but they concealed that contribution and I can't observe it. So that's where we're getting this identification. We're able to quantify the difference. How much more effective are these referrals where somebody gave money in the past before they referred me and I could see it? Okay, so that's our main goal here. So as I said, why does prior contribution by a referrer matter? So it's useful to think of an example, okay? This is based on a long stream of literature in marketing around word of mouth, all right? So a lot of products are dependent on word of mouth to further adoption and diffusion in a marketplace. Here we're viewing crowdfunding campaigns as sort of like a product, and when somebody gives money to the campaign, that's sort of like they're engaging with it or adopting it, okay? The difference here is the amount of money that they give is almost a continuous indication of how much they're approving of this product. So here we're trying to understand, as somebody gives money to the campaign, on the one hand, again, they may put in effort. Now the analogous example from the marketing literature that has come up recently is if you look at physicians and how they prescribe drugs and how other physicians respond to that when they hear about the drug from this person. high volume prescribers are more likely to convince other doctors to start prescribing the same drug. The reason being, one, they may be more enthusiastic in telling other people about that drug, and two, they may be more likely to be viewed as an expert or somebody that's credible in giving this advice. Here we're saying somebody that has themselves given a lot of money to a crowdfunding campaign is maybe more likely to try harder to convince other people. Maybe they are more likely to tailor the message that they're sending to somebody. Think about the relevant information that this person's going to care about when they send them a message. Maybe they'll be more selective about who they send the message to, right? So all these types of strategies they may be more likely to practice when they are really heavily behind a campaign and its cause and what it's trying to get done. The other thing is endorsement. And just so you understand what this picture is of, in case it's not obvious, a lot of this literature is rooted in this notion that when you see a whole lot of people lining up at a restaurant and you've never been to that restaurant and you don't know anything about it, you may be more likely to think, oh, it's something I should probably go check out too. Everybody seems to like it, right? If I see this person's referring me and I go and look at this funders tab on the campaign and I see this person's given $1,000, they really seriously believe in this thing, then I'd be maybe more likely to buy it too or invest in it as well. So this is what I'm talking about, all right? So you have what are two effectively identical contributions to the same campaign. One was made anonymously, the other was not. These two people could have both sent a referral to somebody. When I arrive, I can observe the funder tab and I can see, in this case, yes, this person referred me and I can see that they gave this $50. The other person, I show up and I don't see any evidence that this person's given any money. So this is where the difference is coming from. This person, their referral can impact me because I may view their contribution as a sign of credibility, that they're implicitly endorsing this thing, and that they're putting their money where their mouth is. And at the same time, they may also be trying harder to convince me because they put in X number of dollars. The first one, only the effort effect is possible. I can't see what they gave because I can't identify them. So really we can infer that the only results that can derive from that are the effort they're putting in. So the way we estimated this, we got a rather large data set from this platform, 42,000 peer referrals. And basically the way these are defined, the unit of observation is anytime somebody showed up on this platform at a URL, we were able to identify from a parameter in the URL they followed who sent them. So where did they find out about this thing? Because it gets baked into the URL when it's shared. So we have 42,000 instances of people arriving at a campaign where we know who sent them, what's the name of the campaign, or what are the campaign details, and what did they do at the end of the day? Did they leave or did they give money? All right? These are issued by 14,000 unique people. And we did a lot of, well, I don't want to get too heavily into the math, by the way, but some fancy econometrics to rule out a bunch of important control variables here. And basically what we focused on, first off, did the person that sent the referral give money to the campaign before the person acted on it? 2, how much did they give? And 3, was it revealed? So this is basically what the math would look like in simple form. So our outcome that we're trying to understand here is, first off, does the recipient of the referral end up being converted? Do they give money? 2, how much do they give? And does that increase as the amount that was given by the referrer goes up? So basically, as I see you being more and more implicitly endorsing, and maybe you're trying a lot harder to convert me, I also give more money. And number 3, what happens in terms of transaction durations? What's going to happen here is basically we find that the more and more money that the referrer has given to the campaign before I show up, the more quickly do I go through the transaction process. Basically, I spend less time thinking about it and worrying about it. I'm that much more convinced, and I just get this thing done and I go. Okay, so our results. At the baseline, referrals that were issued by people who had given any amount of money, a binary amount, whether or not it was revealed, are 44% more likely to result in a conversion by the recipient than the alternative, which is somebody that didn't give any money. Number 2, public contributions, so those prior contributions by a referrer that are publicly visible to people, are 30% more effective than the case where they gave money but they concealed it. Okay, and number 3, for every 1% or for every 10% increase in the amount of money over the average that the referrer gave to the campaign, we see a 1% decline in how long it takes them to finish the transaction, the recipient. All right, so just to summarize, referrals from converted people are way more effective than referrals that are attempted by somebody that hasn't given any money already. The effect is much stronger when it's publicly revealed. So basically, we want, as a campaign organizer, to somehow incentivize people to go out and refer their friends, and particularly those people who have already given money to the campaign, and publicly so. And number three, we have some sense that the reason this is happening is that these people that are receiving these referrals are more reassured in some sense because they see this person, again, drinking the Kool-Aid or putting their money where their mouth is before they get the referral. Okay? And that's all I have for you today.